Hey Cinec lovers, and welcome back to another video of my new series where we discuss love in films in honor of Valentine's Day and this month of February. There's a reason why a lot of us roll our eyes when we hear the words rom-com or chick flicks, and it's because we get thrown the same story over and over again every year. You have the girl that's very dumpy and kind of nerdy that suddenly becomes very beautiful, the two people that hate each other but then fall in love with each other, the people that pretend to be a couple but then fall in love because they pretended to be a couple. You know all the stories. There's just too many tropes that are overused in romantic comedies, and these are some of the ones that just make me roll my eyes every single time. The first one that I'm really tired of is the fact that the best friend of whatever female lead you have is always a hot mess. I understand that we have supporting actors that are meant to be some kind of comedy relief, but when it's just that and it's always in the shape of some kind of promiscuous, foul-mouthed lady or, you know, the fabulous gay friend, it's just too much. It's too overdone, and I just need something that's a little bit more substantial. Movies that I have found that are guilty of this is 27 Dresses, Friends with Benefits, funnily enough because they kind of try to make fun of all the romantic comedies, but Mila Kunis's character's mom kind of falls in that category. She's sort of this promiscuous woman who never remembers who she slept with, doesn't remember who her father is, and she's really only there either to make the scene a little bit more funny or give her sound advice when it's the right time in the movie. If you do it right, I think you get the result of something like My Best Friend's Wedding. Jules' best friend, George, is gay, he's absolutely fabulous, but it doesn't stop there. He's not just a one-liner producing machine, he's incredibly smart, a full-fledged character in my opinion, and helps move the story forward, not because of telling jokes, but because of the things he does. He feels like the type of friend you would go to when you're having problems with love and when you're trying to figure out how to get the man that you love back. Another trope that really grinds my gears is when people break up in movies, and it's when the breakup seems incredibly easy. I hate it because it keeps showing you that breaking up is not a big deal, that the person you're with is just like a complication or this thing you have to get over in order to get to the person you love, and that it doesn't matter that you're breaking someone's heart as long as you are in love. Another reason why it bothers me, it's because it's done as the main problem in a romantic comedy. So the reason two people can't be together is because they are already with somebody else, and that's the problem. And on top of that, they make it even easier because their significant others are just either really lame, really stupid, or boring, and of course, as a viewer, you're thinking, well, just break up with them, they're not worth it. And normally the significant other is totally cool with the breakup. They were like, oh yeah, we're not meant to be together, go and be with the one you love, fly. When in reality, if you ask anybody who has broken up with someone, it is probably one of the worst things that you do. It's very difficult, it's draining, emotional, even if you don't want to be with them because you're not in love with them. It's just hard. Movies that are guilty of doing this are You Got Mail, Sleepless in Seattle, Sweet Home Alabama. That last scene at the very end in the middle of a wedding is just too dumb. And of course, Serendipity. Movies that I feel do this right, even if they're not necessarily romantic comedies, is Dan in Real Life. I think that's a great example of a complication of being in love with the same person, breaking up and trying to be with the other one, and then everybody finding out. I think they do that pretty well. There's also Take This Waltz, not exactly a romantic comedy, but I think it handles the fact that struggle of being with someone who you really care for and finding love with someone else. And my last choice is Closer. Definitely not a romantic comedy, but I've never seen a better dual breakup scene than the one I saw in Closer. And there's a line by Natalie Portman where she says, oh, as if you didn't have a choice, you know, to fall in love with this person. And I love that she describes that there's always a moment when you decide whether you're gonna give in to something or if you're gonna resist it. And it's true, they just make it seem like, I fell in love, I had no choice. And you might have fallen in love, but you do have a choice whether you're gonna go with it or not. The third trope that is just overdone and needs to go is that story that there's a tiny misunderstanding between two characters that just snowballs and becomes a huge lie, and then there's the big reveal, the other person gets devastated, but in the end, they forgive them because they are in love. And in part, we want it to work out because we know the character that lied had really good intentions and ultimately they have fallen in love with the person. But if you think about it in real life, if someone did to you what Heath Ledger did to Julia Stiles in 10 Things I Hate About You, you probably don't want to ever see them again. Movies that are guilty of doing this is Tootsie, 27 Dresses, The Truth About Cats and Dogs, like I said, 10 Things I Hate About You, and She's All That. I think movies that have done it right are movies like Hitch, where there's not exactly a lie, there's just a huge misunderstanding, which comes from the characters' issues of trust, and ultimately it's very funny, and you can understand that you can have flaws but be together as well. Another one I actually really like, which might be a little more cheesy, is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Ultimately, I think maybe because both sides were wrong and understand that they were wrong, it kind of works out in the end for me. The last trope that I'm gonna pick, and I'm stopping here because otherwise we'd be here all day, is when sex is used as the reason for a couple to split or to have problems or difficulties. I'm just done with the fact that anytime two people have sex in a movie because they let their guard down, because they were drunk, or because they just follow their emotions, it immediately becomes either the problem between them, regret, or just a lot of momentum with comedy. Sure, it can be very funny, sure, there could be a reason why suddenly having sex made everything more complicated, but doesn't always have to be that. Are we still gonna feel so much regret and stupidity over the fact that we had sex with someone that we liked in 2017? Come on. I don't think they mean any harm, but I think if we keep doing this, and if this is the actual problem in a movie, we're continuing two stereotypes for both men and women. One is that if women have sex when they let their guard down, or they're happy, or they're drunk, or just because they wanted to and they feel immediate regret, we're still perpetuating the fact that women need to feel guilty or dirty or bad because they did something that they just felt right in the moment. And for men, if we keep doing the fact that they freak out or do something stupid after they have sex with a girl, we keep saying that men are emotionally unavailable, they're stupid creatures, they only wanted that and then they leave, and we just don't need to keep doing this all the time. Movies that I think are guilty of doing this is Bridesmaids, When Harry Met Sally, and Crossroads. If you do it right, I think it could be movies like A Lot Like Love, where they have sex almost in the first 5 minutes of the movie and develop a great friendship after that. There's also The Holiday, that scene with Jude Law and Cameron Diaz. Pretty Woman, Dirty Dancing, there's no problems between them after they do it. And my favorite, Shakespeare in Love. My point with all of this is that yes, it's very easy to gravitate to things that are familiar, that we're used to, and we know for a fact it has worked in the past. We don't have to keep sticking to the same things we have done before. We know a lot more about romance. We have developed a new kind of modern romance with technology and everything. We're more sex positive, we're more positive about homosexuality and everything. So there's a lot of variety that we can include, there's a lot of things that we can do for romantic comedies, and I hope that they keep moving into something more fun and interesting and relatable. So guys, those are the few tropes that I have found that I just wish they would stop in romantic comedies. Tell me, which ones are you sick of hearing or watching? You can also let me know what you think on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm CineClub channel in all of them. If you like this type of videos and discussing love in films, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm doing 10 videos in the month of February dedicated to that subject. But until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you get to watch a lot of good movies that you enjoy, and I will see you on our next video very soon. Bye!